In horror movies, the monster isn't always under the bed. Sometimes it's in the bassinet. Babies are supposed to mean hope, new beginnings, the future. But what if the baby is a zombie or a demon or just a bloodthirsty mutant killer? My name is Ariel, and in this video, I want to take you guys on a tour through horror's nursery. We're looking at the worst newborns. First, starting with an ode to the newly born undead. Okay, so for as long as zombie movies have been around, there really are not that many zombie babies, which makes sense because once you throw a dead baby into a horror movie, the vibes kind of change. But the zombabies we do have are kind of their own special category of horror nonsense because they're not usually the main threat. They're usually comedic relief or crying little jump scares like in Z Nation, or taboo grenades filmmakers toss in to let you know the movie has no chill. I'm sure you remember the Dawn of the Dead remake and the scene where they stumble upon a newborn baby and reveal that the baby is in fact a zombie that they have to kill. That scene was short, but it's meant to evoke an emotional response from the viewer. And while we're exploring the emotional side of this trope, I want to introduce you to one of the only full-length zombie baby movies, or at least the only one I'll recommend. Grease is not just there to shock you with a dead baby. It is a dark, emotional, and bloody slow burn that explores grief and twisted maternal instinct. It follows a woman who loses both her husband and her unborn baby in a car accident, but chooses to carry the pregnancy to term anyway. After giving birth, the baby somehow appears to come back to life, shocking everyone in the room. But it doesn't take long for the new mom to realize something is very wrong with this newborn, especially when Grace starts rejecting milk and developing a taste for blood. Compound this with a grief-stricken, crazy mother-in-law who is willing to do anything to get custody of what she feels is all that's left of her son. There's a movie I recommend. Okay, so I know I said I don't necessarily recommend this movie, but I love low-budget trash, and this is definitely that. Zombie Babies was made in 2011, and you can definitely tell a lot of the jokes didn't age well, particularly one scene, which I won't go into. Even in 2011 standards had to be pushing some kind of weird line. I love offensive humor. I just couldn't get past how uncomfortable that particular scene was.
I am disgusted.
Other than that, the movie does have some gems. The special effects are hilarious. The story's hilarious. Some of the dialogue is hilarious. And if you do want to watch it, it's free on YouTube. Just don't say I recommended it. So yes, zombie babies are rare, but when they show up, they're either breaking your heart, ruining your stomach, or making you fist fight in a park. Okay, so that's enough talk about dead babies. These next babies may be alive and well, but they're straight from hell. Welcome to the Battle of the Hell Babies, where I'm pitting two demonic newborns from two low-budget ripoffs against each other to see which one is stronger, scarier, or just overall more hellish. Now let's go crib to crib and compare these stats. In one corner, we have Sharon's Baby, a seemingly normal but demon-possessed 70s horror baby. I Don't Want to Be Born is a low-budget British exorcist ripoff that follows a woman who is cursed after a violent encounter and later gives birth to a baby boy who appears to be demonically possessed. Once the child is brought home, strange and increasingly deadly incidents begin happening around the family, making it clear that this is not a normal newborn. As a huge fan of 70s horror movies, I didn't think this one was that bad, but the 10% Rotten Tomatoes score tells me I may be wrong. Let me also say that Sharon's Baby was the name given to this movie for the US release. There's actually no one named Sharon in this movie, but the baby has no name, so I thought it would be the best fit. Unlike most killer babies, Sharon's Baby is normal looking when on screen, which actually plays into its strengths because no one suspects the baby is responsible for these accidents until it's too late. The baby's kills are off screen for almost all of the deaths, but it's heavily implied the baby is physically carrying out these deeds. This baby's body count is about 7. 3 adult kills, 1 mouse, a finger, the nursery, and this dude's nose. Sharon's Baby is eventually exorcised at the end, making her a normal baby again. In the other corner, we have Sebastian, a low-budget, apocalyptic prophecy baby. 12-12-12 is a trashy, low-budget ripoff of It's Alive and The Omen. It follows Veronica, a pregnant woman whose baby, Sebastian, is born under ominous circumstances. After a violent birth, it becomes clear that Sebastian is not a normal child, and his existence draws in death, prophecy, and people who believe he has a dark, deep purpose. I thought it would be unfair to bring up the last movie's score without mentioning that this one actually rates lower on Rotten Tomatoes, with a whopping 6%. Sebastian starts racking up a body count almost immediately after being born. I counted about 9 adult deaths. He has the power to possess adults to do his bidding, but he also possesses the ability to fly and kill people himself with the power of, I don't know actually. I think he's supposed to be biting or eating them, but he's clearly a baby doll that the actors are holding to their bodies and pretending to be attacked. Unlike Sharon's baby, he pretty much just rejects the exorcism, so it doesn't even appear that he has any weaknesses. So which baby would win in a fight, in an epic hell baby battle? Well, Sharon's baby might have been in the barely better movie, but baby Sebastian would totally rain hell on her. $100 budget be damned. You can watch these if you want, but don't say I recommended them. What I do recommend, if you really need some fun demon baby action that's bearable, is Hell Baby. Hell Baby follows an expectant couple who move into a creepy New Orleans house with a demonic history. Hell Baby is an absurd slapstick horror parody with plenty of gross out gags and bloody humor. The Hell Baby in this movie doesn't appear until the final act, but the hilarity is worth the wait. Before we get to the final segment of this bloody baby bash, if you're having fun with this video, hit the like button for me. Some of horror's nastiest babies aren't undead, and they aren't demonic either. What if the horror is the fear of giving birth to someone or something that won't be accepted by the rest of society? If you think killer baby movies are ridiculous, you may be right. But if you sift through the ridiculousn's, you can usually find some social commentary. And if there is one series that really took killer baby horror further than anybody else, it's Alive. It's Alive may be the first killer baby movie, predating Sharon's baby by a year. It spawned 2 sequels, It's Alive 2, It Lives Again, and It's Alive 3, Island of the Alive, as well as a remake in 2009. This franchise explores deep themes such as repressed parental fear, guilt, or resentment toward their child, particularly one that disrupts their lives. This franchise acts as a cautionary tale about doctors and scientists, represented by shadowy corporations, messing with nature through pollution and untested drugs, resulting in unforeseen fatal consequences. This franchise also explores the limits of unconditional parental love, dysfunctional families, government conspiracies, redemption, loss of autonomy, societal alienation, fear of HIV, and more. And all of that is packaged into a satirical killer baby franchise that just gets more and more ridiculous as it goes. It's Alive starts with a woman giving birth to a mutated killer baby that immediately takes out the doctors and then runs off. The movie follows the parents and the police searching for the infant as their baby is going around town and committing various random murders. After quite a few bodies pile up, the parents eventually find the baby and try to protect it. But it's wanted for multiple murders and it's not exactly unarmed if you count the teeth and claws, so... It Lives Again is a continuation of the series. He's on a mission to help couples in similar circumstances and has discovered multiple women pregnant with mutant babies and a government conspiracy to kill all of them. He creates a safe shelter for the babies, and besides their little mutant faces, they act like normal babies for most of the movie until the bodies start piling up again. Eventually, the other parents also have to contend with the reality that their babies are monsters and may have to be destroyed. It's Alive 3 is a continuation in a sense, but it does start its own story. We're now in a world where people know these mutant babies exist, and officers will go as far as killing on sight. We find a man with a mutant baby who was in court pleading with the government to spare his son's life. There we learn that the babies are not necessarily violent, but reacting to the hostile reactions of those around them because they're scared and confused. The judge decides to spare mutant kind and exiles them to an island. I'm not gonna get into a deep synopsis of the rest of the movie, but I'll just let you know it gets weirder, complete with one of the mutants now giving birth and dealing with the same problems as the other parents. Jokes aside, it's Alive. At least the first one is a classic that I feel every horror fan should watch. Whether you keep going after that is up to you. And if you're wondering why I never mentioned the remake, it's because it fucking sucked. It really dumbs down the source material, makes the characters flat and boring, and I am a firm believer shitty CGI will never be better than shitty practical effects. So yeah, I'd prefer Baby Doll Sebastian over this. Let me know any baby horror movies or baby inspired horror movie scenes I might have missed, and if you had fun, like this video. Also, if you can, please subscribe to my channel. It'll help me out a lot, and there's much more fun videos on the way.